want to cut it
It's
off?
on Jack.
I said, you want to cut it off?
Until you get with the speed. Okay.
Executive session. We don't have the notes. Oh, I think everybody needs to. We thought we got rid of all the papers. Mess around and get it back. Trying to make it easy. The week been all right, Chris.
Yeah, man.
We'd like to say good evening to everybody and welcome you all to our second meeting of the month. As always, we'll open up with prayer on tonight, and then asking that those that don't wish to participate in the prayer would give you time to exit the room at this time. If there isn't any, we'll proceed with prayer. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we love you. We magnify your name. We thank you for another opportunity, Father God, that you've given us to come as mayor and city council, God, to make decisions on behalf of your people, God. And so now, God, we just ask, God, that you will give us the power, the strength. Father God, give us the zeal, God, to do under, Father, the instructions that you've given us. And we just thank you now. We pray over this city, God, every citizen that's in this city. Pray, God, that your blood will cover them, God, and keep them safe from all danger seen and unseen. It's in your Son Jesus' name that we do pray. Amen and thank God.
Amen.
City Manager, let the minutes reflect that all of the council are present on tonight. Brings us down to number 4 on the agenda. The approval of our May 6, 2022 regular session minutes. Council, I think you have those minutes in front of you. I'll give you a moment if you have not read them to do so. Upon reading, if you could, just raise your hand and signifying that you have completed the reading of those minutes. Seems like everyone is ready. I entertain a motion and a second to approve the May 6, 2022 regular session minutes.
Motion.
Second.
It's been seconded. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Unanimous decision. Brings us down to number 5, the approval of April 18th, 2022 executive session minutes. Council, you also have those in front of you. I'll give you a moment to also read those, and then once you've done so, raise your right hand signifying that you're ready. I entertain a motion and a second to approve the executive session minutes for April 18th, 2022.
Motion.
Second.
It's been seconded. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Unanimous. Brings us right on down to number 6 on the agenda. Mr. Johnny Porter, Supervisor Report.
Good evening. I think everyone should have a copy of the overview of what the department have been doing since the last time I was here. Some of the things that entail is asphalt work, pothole, grass cutting, weekly pickup, and a few other things. As far as the pothole go, there's an issue with potholes in the Mill Street and Sycamore area. At this point, I recommend that the city provide a permanent fix by resurfacing that street. You got sections over there where the road had deteriorated down to the dirt and the gravel, and it's not thick enough or deep enough to hold asphalt or cold patch. So, I mean, we go over and patch, but it's not holding. That's one of the streets that's on the list on the back side of your folder of the streets that do need resurfacing. It's a list of 9 streets. The city has done 5 or so, and that's one of the remaining 4, I think. As far as manpower goes, I think we're in good shape heading into the summer month. We added one guy, maybe 2 guys since the last time I was here. So we working pretty good with what we got right now. The city manager and I briefly discussed the purchase of a dump trailer. I'm looking to kind of phase out the pack truck for what it do, the age of it. And I think the dump trailer would be more efficient for what we're doing right now. Plus, sitting up in that pack truck got a lot of different issues other than heat in the summer and freezing in the winter and just those type of issues. The dump truck, I think, will work a lot better for what we use it for. There are 2 projects that the city has contracted out as far as the city, street department goes. One of them is down on South Street next to the railroad track, and the other one is finishing up or putting in ditch lines up on Alma Circle. It's a work in progress up there on Alma Circle. I think it's in between right now, and they just starting the phase on looking into how to fix the problem on South Street. So a lot of stuff we do it weekly is repetitious, so I'm not going to go into the same old thing. But if you have any questions, I'm willing to answer.
Mr. Johnny, you said the city has already done 5 of these streets for the resurfacing. Is that what you said?
Yes, it's,
Are those the
they
ones with the
done North,
asterisks? Are those the one with the asterisks beside them?
right,
that we have
that's,
already done? Okay.
North Spring Street, First Avenue, Railroad Street, Claude Dreyer, Alma Circle. So you still have Sycamore Street, Richland Circle, Plain Mill Road, and Canaan Terrace.
Okay. City manager, you have a list of these. My next question is, I saw on here that we did some edging around town.
Right.
5/9/22. Now, when you say edge, are we talking about curb edging?
When the edging, wherever you got the curbing itself, you pretty much take the edge and go up and down the.
That's what you're talking about,
Right,
curb edging?
and we did, and kind of clean up the street.
Okay.
Right.
Now this is what I asked. I was riding through Canaan the other day, or MLK. Is there any way we can get down that area and make sure we do some edging down through there on those streets? Or is that not our
At
right
what
way?
section are you? They started right there at the store, kind of the Sunrise store, and went all the way down to Adrian Circle, really. So, are you talking?
Did they do
before you
both
get-
sides? Did they do both sides?
They did both
Okay.
sides.
All right. I'll go take another look, but that's what I was talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they just finished that up first part of last week.
Okay. I have no other further questions. We thank you for the job that you've been doing. Councilman Moore, any questions?
Yes, looks like Richland Circle is gonna be the next one, to be conducted for resurfacing. For the mayor and council, I know we had 2 or 3 meetings back, we had Mr. Brown that came up with some concerns, and actually paid him a visit shortly after that. Have we rectified that situation with the questions that he had? So that resurfacing can't even take place until that's completed? Or can it?
Depends on if you ask him or not. There's still some issues that need to be worked out.
I mean, just for the sake of making sure that we're not overlapping with one another, I think we need to get our ducks on the road to make sure that the street department is not surfacing if we still got work in progress. Is what I'm getting at.
Now, is this the priority list? 1, 2?
Yeah, that is go from listed from worst to first. One being, and I went back a couple of years ago now. North Spring was the one that needed immediate resurfacing, and it goes on down. Like I say, they did First Avenue, Railroad Street, Alma Circle, and I assume the next one would be either Richland Circle or up in the Sycamore area.
Okay. Yeah. Councilman Moore, I agree with you. We'll make sure that we don't double it ourselves on this.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. Councilman Miller.
Yes, sir, man, I have one question. Looking at this list, who came up with
The streets, I did. I went around the route and checked each street, and at the time I did it, though, was the 9th street that actually needed some attention, and I based the numbering of it from the worst to first on it.
Sycamore is number 730 from the bottom? That was one of my concerns. I don't have no problem with the list at all. I know Sycamore should be way ahead of 2 or 3 of these streets. I ride.
Well, like I say, this list is at least 2 years old, and like I say, it have deteriorated over time, especially when you come up coming up Mill Hill, and you're taking the right, and when you get ready to turn to the left right, that's where it's mostly deteriorating now, and that may be some of what you're seeing when you get ready to turn to go down toward the apartment.
Oh, well, just check it out some more. I don't have no problem with Sycamore.
Yeah. I got you.
Just give it some attention.
I got you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Councilwoman Kipper Rivers.
Yes, I just want to say that when you out edging, check Laura Street and Grind Street. They can use some attention also. And revisit the potholes on the railroad, because we still have a few that hadn't been patched.
Oh, okay. You saying Northeast Street or Railroad Street?
Northeast.
Northeast Street.
East Street. Okay.
Councilman Rowley. Councilman Neal. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Johnny.
Oh, okay.
Brings us to number 7 on the agenda. Ms. Kendrick Ward, road closure request for picking on the green to be held on June 17th.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good
Hey,
evening.
how are you?
First off, I want to say a big thank you to Johnny and his team for the week of Jubilee and afterwards. Town looked great. The merchants have still raved about it. Their guys are out in the morning, super early, like 7:30, getting stuff ready. So I don't think our street department gets enough praise on how awesome they make our town look for our tourists. So I know they've got other things too, but I want y'all to know they are doing an amazing job, and I couldn't do my life without Sam. So I don't know, we're not letting Sam go anywhere anytime soon. And he's not allowed to go out on medical leave for 3 months either again, because I missed him. So with that, I am here to ask for a road closure for our summer concert, Picking on the Green. It will be Friday, June 17th. The first road closure we are asking is for North Main Street in front of Festival Hall and Green Street from North Main down to the Bank South parking lot. And that is so that we can put up our stage and our tent and start getting set up. And then the second road closure would be at 4:30 to continue from North Main to Court Street and Green Street in front of Mr. C's to block the traffic.
Council, you've heard the request coming from Ms. Kendrick. I entertain a motion or a second to approve or deny.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been second to approve the request of Ms. Kendrick Ward for the road closure request for Picking on the Green to be held on June 17th. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Unanimous decision. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
Number 8, approval of bids for Festival Hall structural repair. Mr. Ralph, ask that you would come forward.
Good evening, Mayor Williams and members of the council.
Good evening.
My name is Ralph Boswell. I own Oconee Engineering, structural engineering firm. We were given the task of coming up with first evaluating the building here, and then also to come up with bid documents to put out for bid to do the structural repairs for this building. I've got a few copies. I've got not quite enough. If you don't mind, I'll hand these out that are our grading sheets.
I've already given.
So we put this out on the Georgia Procurement website. It went like it should have for any public money bids that were taking place, and so we did that. We had a pre-bid meeting here that was mandatory. We had 3 contractors showed up. 1 dropped out through the process, and so we had two firms that submitted bids here. And if you've got a copy of this this scoring sheet, we've got Callaway Site Services that put in a bid of $125,800, and then Metro Waterproofing for $222,947. And so the recommendation would be, at least from my end, that we would Callaway Site Services would be the company that would perform the repairs. And I'm open to answer any questions that you guys might have about this.
Mr. Ralph, do you have a list of those items that need to be repaired or that will be repaired?
I don't have a list of them printed out for you, but I can tell you basically what
Okay.
what those things are. So To give you a little background, I did a structural report on this when Reynolds hired us back in 2007 to come in and evaluate the building before they did the renovation for Festival Hall. And a couple of the things that we noted, there was some stuff in the ceiling and the roof that needed to be taken care of down below, some floor beams and things like that. They did the renovation, a different architecture and engineering firms, took care of that. Some of those things were not handled at that time in 2007. So basically, in 2008 when that got done. So a lot of the things that we're taking care of now are things that, that we had kind of noted up back then. But in the roof, one of the things that we had noted back in 2007 prior to the repair was that there's a truss at every one of these, a steel truss at every one of these columns that you see in the roof, and the roof rafters lay over them kind of like this, and because they were laid on an angle, they kind of shifted down the hill, and we were recommending some blocking and stuff like that. When they did the repair, they came in and did closed cell foam insulation, really tightened things up, but they have some big ductwork that hangs off of some of the rafters, and so one of the things that our repair is that we would be taking the weight of those of that big ductwork off of those existing rafters that were there. That's one item. Another item down below, there's several beams that have either from rot or bug damage, that are damaged, and so one of the repairs is that there's several areas where we're putting in new beams, columns, and footings, basically on each side of those damaged beams, and to support those. You can especially, there's multiples along the front wall, and there's some soft areas in the floor up there that you might notice when you're walking along the hallway, and in that area. So that would be another item that we're doing. I think all total there was 60 piers that would be added, in the crawl space of this building, footings, columns, and new beams that would support some of those damaged areas. There's some areas that just needed to be shimmed up, at the top of some of the piers that weren't handled. That's one of the items that we would be doing. This front wall up here that's damaged, what was happening at the ramp out front is that water was coming down the ramp, getting in behind the wall and causing damage to the retaining wall up front where there's a big crack up there. You're not going to move that wall back in, without tearing up what's behind it and redoing it. So what we were doing was putting a new buttress wall up front to support that, repairing the sealant, repairing the mortar joints, and we were cutting a couple of additional holes in the wall, weep holes, so that we could get the water out of there and it wouldn't damage the wall. And then I think the last item, that was 3 items. The fourth item is that we would pipe these downspouts on this side of the building and take them out behind the building. This wall is, you don't want to put water behind a retaining wall. That water just kind of, some of it runs over and gets down behind that wall, and eventually that will, that wall's not in great shape, the one between this building and the adjacent tenant, so next door. So we don't want that to cause damage, and we're going to pipe that to the back there, and that pretty much is the scope of the work.
Do we have an estimated time frame?
We were asking for them to be done, I think, at the end of August with that
So
work.
when would they begin?
When will it
Soon?
begin? Well, I think the next step, if we're approved here, and I don't know, Larry, if we had to also get approval from the Downtown Development Authority, board, I don't know the answer to that, but I will go ahead as soon as you guys, if you would give us, permission to go forward, I'll take care of getting the contract ready and give it to legal so that they can approve it. And then, as soon as we can go ahead and as soon as we get the approvals we need from the city and possibly the Downtown Development Authority, we can go ahead and give him a notice to proceed, and he can begin. So, and they're aware. I think we did give a copy. Nicole, provided us with a copy of all the events that were going on here, so that they would work around those, any of those events or things that would be going on, and hopefully not impact, anything she was doing here.
Now, I didn't hear you. Are we redoing the floors in here? Is that included?
That is a separate something that I think Nicole had gotten a grant for a part of that, and I was going to help her get a spec together for that, but that would be a separate something that gets done after we get this floor repair work taken care of from underneath. And so you guys know, we do have in this price, we did get unit prices for anything additional with additional beams that we might find that we just, that weren't seen or something like that. So we do have a unit price for that, and these numbers represent, there's a $10,000 contingency in there for unforeseen conditions. So there will be some money, in that if there's nothing else seen that, that through the process of doing this that needed to be done, then, that money would come back to the city.
We're replacing 60 floor joists or adding 60 floor joists?
We're not adding it. We're basically coming in. The way the beams are constructed in here, it would be really hard to get those out. So what we were doing was coming in beside those damaged beams. And I think I had there's along this wall, all the way along the wall on this end, a beam had been removed at some point, and so those joists were just kind of hanging out there with toe-nailed into the, into the. So we were supporting that, and then we're fixing these beams, and then we've got several areas where we were shimming and and having them come in with steel shims and where stuff was inappropriately done, and fixing those areas.
2x10s or 2x12s? What are we using for beams?
For beams, a double 2x10s. Okay. And then, there's a footing on each end of that and a steel column that would be, placed under each.
What about in the middle of those? How long are the beams?
I think they're probably on like a 10-foot or 12-foot grid through here. I don't remember exactly, but every 10 or 12 feet, you've got an existing brick pier, that's under here now, and the grid, that's happening. So we're basically going at each one of those damaged joists or damaged beams, and putting something on each side of it to support it.
Are we building any new piers up under there?
Just the new, each one of those, everywhere we have a beam line, we'll have a column at each end of it and a footing. That they're going to pour.
Okay.
So there will be new supports up under there.
I don't have anything else. Councilman Miller, Councilman Moore, do you have anything?
Yeah, same question that the mayor asked. You said the end of August, but what's the duration of the work? Is it 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or it's a month estimate?
Well, I think they can do this in multiple stages, and part of what we'll have to do is work with, Jacob Callaway Site Services. He's currently in Bogart. He grew up, he's a Greene County guy, but I know he does a lot of school work for Winder, for Winder Barra schools, and I don't know what else they have going on this summer. We kind of get what I told them was that we wanted to go ahead and get the floor work done was our first priority, to get that done so they could get up under here and get that going and taken care of, and then we could go ahead and finish what we needed to do to get the floors sanded.
So you still don't know if it's 2 weeks, 4 weeks?
As far as how long they'll be here, well, we're just basically giving them until August, 31st to be completed in whatever, but we did ask them to go ahead and take care of this floor work first.
Okay, that's all.
Councilman Miller. Councilwoman Rivers.
If I'm not mistaken, did you say y'all looked at this in 2007?
I originally looked at it in 2007, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if we won't be any problems, could you take like some photographs so we have a more visual of what we're looking at before we even get started? Just so just get some pictures of what we looking to repair.
Oh, I did a report back in, in 21, for Festival Hall here. So I did a report in 2007. I came back in and looked at it again, I guess in 16 or 17 for the, what's the guy's name that does the arts program, Opus? I think they had us come in and look at something before here, and then I did this report in 21. So I've got a one that's a current report that we used to, and I did also produce construction documents for all the repairs that had to be done.
And where can we look at that at?
It was on the city website. Is it still there, Larry?
Probably.
Okay. It's under bids and RFPs on the city website.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Rowland. Councilman Neal.
I'd just like to get some before and after pictures, like.
Oh, we will. One of the things that I'm going to do during this process is that I will do pay request as a part of the process. So when construction starts, I'll be out here several times, and whenever they make a pay request to the city, I don't know how many they'll do through the process of this, probably just 2 or 3, but before the city pays them anything, I will come out here and inspect the work and make sure that A, it's done right, and then B, that they're not trying to charge you for more work than they've got here. And then, once that, I'll sign off on it before I send anything to Larry to be paid for by the city.
Thank you so much. Council, you've heard the request coming from the Festival Hall for the approval of the bids for the structural repairs. I entertain a motion and a second to approve or deny the approval.
Motion.
Is that motion, Councilman Moore, to approve?
Motion to accept.
Second. It's been motion and second to approve, to accept the approval of bids for Festival Hall. Is there any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Unanimous decision. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next is number 9. It's the appointment of city clerk, and I apologize to the city as well as to the council because I thought this was something that we had already taken care of. And so on tonight, I would like to appoint Robin Mapp as our city clerk. I entertain a motion and a second.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Been second. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Unanimous decision. Number 10 is the appointment of the wastewater supervisor. And we'll appoint tonight Marcus Cunningham as the wastewater supervisor. Entertain a motion and a second to accept the approval or appointment.
Motion to accept.
It's been seconded. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Unanimous decision. Thank you so much. Brings us down to number 11, unfinished business. Unfinished business. I do have one thing that'll fall under unfinished business. We did receive our uniforms this week. I don't know if you guys have noticed our employees walking around with uniforms on, but we did receive them this week, so everybody should be in uniform. Everybody should be in uniform. Anything coming from you, Councilman Moore?
Nothing up under unfinished business.
City manager, anything for you?
Yes, sir. I gave everyone a copy of Mr. Phil Sutton's proposal to assist the city of Greensboro in the local sales tax negotiation. He was recommended to us by Georgia Municipal Association. He's got a lot of experience. I think it would be prudent for the city to retain his services during these very contentious negotiations.
Any questions, Councilman Moore?
Nothing.
Any questions, Councilman Miller?
Nothing, man.
Councilwoman Rivers?
No.
You guys still looking over. Councilman Rowland? Councilman Neal?
How much you gonna call it?
15 grand is what I see.
Get some consulting.
Yes.
That's what I see. You got that chance to read over that? If not, I'll give you time. As you all know, loss negotiation is underway, and it's very important. It's divided into between the 5 cities and the county that make up the 5 cities that make up the county and the county. And our county is playing pretty hardball this go round, so we're gonna need somebody to step in for us and try to get us our share, our fair share. Will be done. I entertain a motion to accept.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Then motion, then second. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Unanimous decision. Anything else, City Manager?
No, sir.
City Attorney?
No, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Miller?
Yes, I have, first, Mayor, we started the meeting, you didn't ask whether are we going into executive session tonight? First.
If need to.
I need to, for personnel, for one personnel matter. And then my next thing is I want to make a motion that we pay all city employees $3,000 one time out of the COVID Recovery Act for my money. One time, $3,000 each employee. That's my motion.
Second.
Motion is second to take, to pay employees $3,000 at one time for additional bonus out of the ARPA funds. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Three, two. Anything for you, Councilwoman Rivers?
No, sir.
Councilman Rowland? Councilman Neal?
No.
Brings us down to number 12, new business. I've been in office now going on a little bit over four months, and I've recognized that we don't have a mission statement for our city. I think it's very vital for us to have a statement that shows where we're going. So I asked the council, not on tonight, but I asked the council just to reflect on the vision of our city, where you all see us going, and come up with a mission statement for our city. That's all I have for new business. Councilman Moore?
Yes, a couple of things, Mr. Mayor. At the city park, I was down there last night at 9. Noticed that the lights around the walking trail are not on. Are they on a timer, or are they out for some reason?
You're on time. I have to look at it. What time is it?
It was 9 p.m. last night. There are 9 lights around the walking trail.
All of them?
They were not on.
Okay, well, there's 2 separate times.
Okay.
I'll look at it.
The second one is, the water park that's down. There's a lock on the water mechanism, for the water park for the kids. I mean, is that something that we're gonna utilize? We're gonna take the lock off?
When's the last time you looked at it?
Last night.
I didn't know you were gonna put it back on.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lock on it.
Yeah, I had, Josh go down and take it off. I didn't tell him to put it back on. I'll tell him to keep it off.
Okay, well, it's locked. And the last one, what's the protocol for, no parking signs?
As far as,
What's the city's policy around no parking signs?
well, on roads like, Main Street, parking is permitted, and it would take a council action to make areas no parking.
For a side street, off of MLK.
Those smaller streets, I think it would probably have better effect of law if we said, if the council, would, make it law.
Well, it's not something that we probably have to solve tonight. I just wanted to bring it up for discussion. Citizens have complained about throughout being able to get in and out their residence because of cars parked on the side of the street. That's all I have at the moment.
Do we have an address? Or you want to talk about it later?
It's right there beside Napa. As you're going down to, I guess that's Eastview Apartments. From time to time, there are vehicles on both sides of the street.
With the washing cars?
Yes, yes.
What street did you say?
I want to say, I guess it's going to be Canaan Terrace. It comes all the way back around. It's not on Canaan Circle. It's the street that runs behind the daycare center that comes back out to Napa.
Between Napa and Head Start.
Yes.
There.
Yeah, that'd be, part of,
That's not part of County Circle, is it?
it's another circle.
Foster, is it?
No, it's, the little back circle there.
All right, but we understand. We'll get it.
Okay. That's all I have
We'll
to say.
talk about it. Anything for you, city members?
No,
City attorney? Councilman Miller?
No, sir.
Councilwoman Rivers?
We're also having the same issue on Twin Pine with, people parking in the road and the buses can't get by. And that's all I have.
Councilman Rowland? Councilman Neal?
No.
All right. Brings us down to number 13, public comments.
Mr. Mayor, before we go to public comments, I need to go back to the motion that was made. We need to set a date for that. When we want them to get made.
Well, we'll do that in personnel. We'll come out of it.
Okay.
Public comment.
Good evening.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. Thank you. How are you?
I'm well.
Excellent. Well, my name is Chasen Crawford, and my wife Erica and I, we live in Greensboro. And on May 7th, it was Saturday, May 7th, the catalytic converter from our Prius was stolen, and it's not great. It happened the Saturday before Mother's Day, and it was just not a great weekend. That's not the reason exactly why I'm here. I didn't mention that we live right downtown, so above Maggie Lane, right at the corner of Broad and Main Street, and it happened at 7:30 in the morning, so broad daylight. So had police out there, and after the police left, we went to talk to some of the business owners just to find out, one, did anybody see anything, and were there any cameras downtown? And come to find out that there weren't any cameras. There were some witnesses, and we're hoping that the police can follow up on that. But we're here because we wanted to know if there's any sort of funding for traffic cameras or security cameras or anything like that for downtown. And really more importantly for me, I'd like to know what we can do as citizens to kind of help make that happen if there's something that we can do. But yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I'll
thank you.
find out if we have any funding for those cameras.
Okay.
I'll make sure we let you know.
Thank you.
All right.
And
Thank you.
Any thoughts on what we can do to kind of follow up, or petitions or anything like that, or just come back out to the next meeting?
Come back out to the
Yeah.
next meeting.
While I had the microphone, Mr. Moore, I definitely agree. The lights at the park. Are you talking about the park near the police station?
Yes.
Yeah, I've been out there early in the morning as well, and I stopped going out there because the lights weren't on at that time either, and I was just, so it's not just that one time. It's
Okay.
Yeah. So if that helps at all, thank you all.
Thank you.
Of course, I don't know if you guys have copies of the proposed budget that I was told would be ready for public access at this meeting. Mr. Manager, is it ready?
I did not bring that. I can get you one tomorrow.
I didn't hear you.
I did not bring one. I'll get you one tomorrow.
So it is ready for public viewing for anybody that want to come up and get a copy? Okay. All right. And also, since we're talking about parking issues, West Street is becoming a problem with traffic flow because they're using that business. Well, actually, they're using the street as parking for that business on that corner where the Right Thing Market is. And now you can't see to get out because, for one, have they done a study on the length of time that the traffic lights hold in downtown Greensboro? Because traffic, I'm sure, Ms. Rivers with the bus driver, you know that the buses, traffic, when school lets out, traffic backs all the way back up to almost the turn that goes right before the library, and in opposite directions all the way down to past Walgreens when school is out. Also, it happens on the weekends as well. So has anybody done a timing study of the traffic signals during peak times so there won't be a problem with the flow of traffic through downtown? And also the traffic light at, I don't know the street name, but it's right there at the corner of Holcomb's and 15 and 278, that intersection. That light holds like maybe 2 seconds, so it doesn't really give you enough time to even turn or get out before the road still is not repaired right there. It's been that way for what, 2-3 years now? There's still a big dip. You have to literally drive slow to turn, and by the time 2 cars get out, especially a tractor trailer, the light's already changed again. So I would hope that somebody would be interested in doing a time study on the lights, and for peak traffic times, at least have the lights hold long enough to get the traffic flowing through town, so we won't have that issue of traffic backing up. And with the reason of the traffic being a problem on West Street is because a lot of people, including myself, use that as an alternate turn. Instead of sitting there waiting on the light to change, we go around that way and go through and come out where old BB&T used to be. But because now that road is usually obstructed during the day, it's hard to get through there. It's a one-flow traffic until you get to the corner where the turn stop sign is. So that definitely needs to be addressed since we're talking about parking issues as well. And I don't know if there's a reason the last parking space on the 4 corners downtown, I know you can't tell a person based on their size of their vehicle where to park and that kind of thing, but usually if it's a larger vehicle, it obstructs the view of you being able to turn and see cars coming, especially when you got people that are out there walking across the street, not paying attention to the traffic crossing signals, and then you having to sit there and not only watch people that are walking across the street at the wrong time to cross, you also have to worry about somebody hitting you because you can't see around the traffic of the cars that are parked at the end of each road. So if somebody don't mind doing a traffic study so we won't have numerous accidents, because there's been at least 2 that I'm aware of right in that same area that I'm talking about. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I entertain a motion and a second to enter into executive session on one personnel matter.
with you.
It's been seconded. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Thank you. Thank you all so much. You're welcome to come back once we enter back into regular session.